I'm
There
here.
you go. Awesome. Hey guys, it's Friday, and you know what that means. It's Mastery Role Play. John, Sonny, and Denny. Welcome. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time, and I don't know where you are logging in. Happy to have you. We've got some awesome things to talk about today. In fact, I'm attempting to get a new slide in my slide presentation here in just a second. So, John, why don't you kick us off and welcome everybody.
Guys, welcome to Friday afternoon. This is going to be a great session. Hopefully, we're going to cover some of the things that we did this morning in our team's meeting. There were some really interesting things we're starting to see in the market and some responses buyers and sellers are having. What are you guys seeing? Before Denny gets going here, what are you guys seeing in your market? What challenges, what questions are coming up?
Does that mean that prices are falling as well? Absolutely. We've been able to document for the
Yeah, let's stop this thing here. I was attempting to get my Wink video ready to go, but it's messing up. So stop.
All right, so I'm going to start calling on people. Keith, what's happening in your market, bud?
Just the average stuff, you know, a little bit of price drops, but we're still making it happen. I just closed on some vacant land today for like 204,000. We sold it for.
Great job.
Yeah, it was just land, totally overgrown. Nothing spectacular about it at all. Location.
Right. Awesome. Good job, bud. Good job. What are your buyers saying to you right now?
Out here, my buyers are think they're seeing more inventory. So they ask to see a lot more places, but then when we get to the table, I mean, as of late, I've still seen the competition where we're still up against, 5 or 6 buyers.
Okay. All right. So you're still seeing some multiple offer situations in your market?
Yeah, in certain pockets, because one of my buyers is a lower price point and it's FHA. So whenever something hits around that price point, it's like a flood to it. There's a bunch of activity.
Okay. Okay. So you've still got some good pockets of opportunities, especially for sellers that are looking to capitalize. What are you guys seeing in the way of, and Keith, you brought it up, price reductions? How do you compare your price reductions to price increases right now? Has anyone done the research to see what's happening there?
Yep, I have.
Well, I know you have, Denny. You're not allowed to answer this one.
Got it.
Any other markets, guys? What are you guys seeing in the way of price reductions versus price increases, say over the past 7 days?
If you haven't looked, this is something you should be looking at. This is great ammunition used with your buyers and sellers.
Denny, what are you seeing?
Well, would it surprise you guys to find out that we're seeing more price reductions than we are price increases? I've got my slideshow ready to go. I know a few people are logging on late, so thanks for carrying a little dead air there, John. In Naples, which is one of the most desirable locations on the planet, certainly in the Southwest Florida area, we're seeing 20 to 1, 20 price reductions, John, for every price increase. I can tell you it wasn't like that 4 months ago. And so
like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, maybe not even 4 weeks ago. However, we have been having some conversation, you guys, and if you want, and you should have, I'm happy to make available to you. I will send you, if you will put it your email, and Sunday, if you will help. In fact, why don't you just do this? It'd be easier for Sunny. You should have my 3-minute video I just did this week on the CBS affiliate here. It's only 3 minutes talking about if you want to put your home on the market at the peak, it's too late. Now, again, we have one of the best markets in the country, and our market is already peaked. And I bet you $1 to a donut, your market has too. Now, I know we were talking about, Gary Keller talks about the 3 markets. Well, it's not even just Gary Keller. In general, we talk about the 3 markets: the seller market, the buyer market, and then the market that's in balance. What market, you can put in the chat if you want, what market would you say your market's in now? And there's no wrong answer. We got people all over the country, and at some point soon will be international. What is your market like? Buyer, seller, or equilibrium? And, Sonny, if you're watching the chat, maybe you can read them off for us. I see one seller. If you can't find the chat, then you might want to look. Everyone is saying, I can see this on my own, all by myself. Everyone's saying seller. Yeah, keep going. Keep reading them off. Seller, seller, seller. So does anybody want to talk about that? Because I have a, that's interesting. Why is
We have our first buyer market, Denny.
all right, Mark G. You say it's a buyer's market. Everybody's saying seller. So I'm going to go to Nathan. Nathan, tell me why you think it's a seller. I'm sorry. Why it's a seller's market where you are. Where are you and why is it a seller's market? Then Mark, I'm coming to you. Where are you and why is it a buyer's market for you?
I'm in Fort Myers and we still have less than 4 months of inventory left. So that would make it a seller's market, correct?
Nathan, I mean, that's Junior. That's Junior? That's Junior.
It's your favorite,
It
Nathan.
works for me. I never call him his name. I know his voice though. All right, cool. Mark G, you say buyer, why?
Well, I'm also in Fort Myers, and I think my take is that because of the shifting market, because the inventories are increasing, because the days on the market are longer, buyers have more options now. They know they do, and they're taking their time. They're not rushing. I've not seen the amounts of multiple offers, the biddings, even the listings are really positioned differently now. That I'm running across.
Isn't it interesting? I got two, and I didn't realize that both of them in Fort Myers. I was just pulling names, and so we have a difference of opinion. Let's go back to the definition. Technically speaking, a definition of a buyer's and seller's market is based on months of inventory. So Nathan is a bright young man. He just graduated high school. He's working on his real estate license, and he gave us the answer. It's a seller's market because we have 4 months of inventory. Well, I want to give you the advanced lesson right now because this is all about mastery. There is no such thing as a seller's market, and there is no such thing as a buyer's market. Do I have your attention now? The only thing there's a seller's segment and a buyer's segment. Because Nathan technically is correct. If you go from 0 months of inventory to 5 months of inventory, the definition of the seller's market would be if it's less than 5 months, it's a seller's market. However, that does not mean that transcends all segments. Like it doesn't mean it transcends condos or price or different price ranges, etc. So what I want you guys to know, because this is a mastery level class, that technically speaking, there's only segments that are really important. And so both of those guys are in Fort Myers. I documented and I put in my 3-minute TV spot this week, which you should have a copy of, and you can use it if you want, or you can actually do the research yourself for your own market. Just go ahead and email us at Sonny. What email should we use? And you can put it in the chat, and we will send you the link to it as it's posted on our YouTube. If you actually go to YouTube's channel. Anyway, Sonny, what's the best email for us to use?
Do you want them to use your email or my email?
It doesn't really matter. Just go ahead and post it in the chat. And if you want a copy of this, and you can have a copy of it, because I basically announced the first time publicly that our market has turned. Collier County, which is Naples, the second month in a row, I'm seeing falling median sales price. I'm seeing sales are down, prices are down, and as John mentioned a minute ago, the price reductions are way up. So we are transitioning from a seller's market, and we're not to a buyer's market yet, but we have transitioned. And I should say the segment has transitioned. However, the buyers think it's the market has come to them. So we're going to have some role play. We've had some great role plays in the last couple of days. We had a couple conversations today already, and I want to prepare you for the fact that the buyers think the market is all theirs. So John, why don't we start off with a role play dealing with the buyer? It could be something we did today or something that you and your guys in Naples are working on.
Well, a common one is with buyers is there's two things we're hearing. We're going to wait for the prices to bottom out, or if they're financing, we're waiting for the interest rates to drop. Those are the two big ones we're hearing. Anyone else hearing those same things?
They're not going to talk. They might put it in the chat, John. So let's just go with it. Now,
The problem is, Denny, we're
Yes.
after lunch for some of these guys, and they're sitting there with the hamburger hangover right now.
yeah, but I'm not waiting on them. I'm moving. There's too many important things we got to talk about. And Mark, no, it wasn't
You
a
got
trick question. It's an advanced question. So let's do the role play. So who works with buyers right now that's heard that? And let's have that objection. Who wants to master the buyer saying, you know what? I'm going to wait because every day I wake up, it's Groundhog Day and homes are worth less. Who's ready to go?
Well, I'll tell you what, I know it's not Sherry, but the guy in the red golf shirt, I believe he's in Colorado Springs, has just been called out. Yep, and it's really red because I'm colorblind. I can't see red. That's how red that is. So that Sherry is going to be our agent. Who would like to be the buyer that's going to wait for the prices to bottom out?
Well, why don't we go next door? We got Jeff Jones. Jeff is our broker
Oh.
in Naples. He would
Jeff's
be an awesome one. Jeff, can you be a buyer? Have you ever been a buyer in your life? You're muted, my friend.
Yes, sir. I have been a buyer in my life.
All right, the Colorado Springs Sherry is going to be our agent. And you can change your name to your real name if you'd like to.
Yes. So I'm David Thompson.
He's the newest member of the Lauhe Group. Brent just got his license. He's an active duty Army. So don't be nice, but be nice to him.
First of all,
Thank
thank you
your
very much
service.
for your service. Welcome to the show. Jeff, don't be easy on him. He can take it.
Oh God. All right.
He's
let's do it.
infantry.
This
He's
is
good.
going to be like boot camp for you. So if you can remember boot camp, you'll be okay.
All right.
So start it off with asking Jeff if he's ready to sign the contract.
All right, Jeff, are you ready to sign a contract?
Are you kidding me? Prices are falling like crazy. More inventory is coming on the market every week. I'm not ready. I gotta wait this thing out and see what happens.
So I don't really know what we're supposed
All
to
right,
do.
so Denny's new. We're going to give him the model real quick. There you go. Look on your screen. First thing you do is acknowledge.
I isolate it and acknowledge it.
Okay. So the first thing you see, I get it, Jeff. Isolate it. Other than that, is there anything keeping you from moving forward?
Okay.
No, I just want to get the best deal.
Keep digging deep, Sherry. Keep digging deep.
So, John. So Jeff, how long are you planning on waiting before you price yourself out of the market?
Well, I'm renting right now.
Oh, okay. What are you paying on? What are you paying on? That was a good one. What are you paying for rent right now, Jeff?
Hang on.
Well,
I got to stop you.
Okay.
We're not on the model.
Got it. I don't know what the model. Okay, there it is right there. Isolate address. and
So
code.
the acknowledgement, I understand. Isolate. How do you isolate, you guys? You've got to isolate.
Right.
3 words. Whitney, what are they? 3 words. You've got this.
Other than that,
There you go. I knew I could call on you. So say that. Go ahead. Other than that, anything else keeping you from moving forward?
So other than that, is there anything else keeping you from going forward?
Hey, you got me. No, not really. I just want to get a good deal.
Okay, I understand that.
Sergeant, let me give you.
Access or
Sergeant,
address.
Can I give you, wait a minute, can I give you a hint? Can you see the screen behind me? When you work with a buyer, everybody write this on your palm, the palm of your hand in indelible ink. What's the question?
Do you currently own or rent?
You've got to find out. Now, I could make a silly example, and I'm tired, and my birthday's coming up, and I'll even be further awkward than I normally am. Is that before you want to ask somebody out, you might want to find out if they're married. I know in some circles that doesn't matter. However, it should matter if they own or if they're renting. So go ahead and start with that question.
Do you currently rent or own?
Hey, you got it. I currently rent.
Okay, awesome. Are you married as well?
Oh, stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now,
You can isolate that, but
yeah, you guys exchange numbers, just not right. Keep going.
All right, so you rent. How much is your rent, if you don't mind me asking?
yeah, currently my landlord just raised my rent 20%. I'm at $3,500 a month.
that seems like a lot.
That seems like a lot. Do you know how much a mortgage payment would be?
No, I just want to get a good deal.
Okay. We can get you in with our lender and he's
So,
great in-house
hang on.
financing. Okay.
All right, I'm going to call timeout. So you went through boot camp and they probably gave you some sort of a gun, a rifle of some sort, and you learned how to take it apart, right?
Yes.
Does this feel like the first time you took your rifle apart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it for our, now watch this. You're going to get better. And thanks for being on the call. So let's go ahead and let's find someone that's not their first week. Thank you for being willing to do it. Now watch somebody who's taken the rifle apart and can do it blindfolded. John, pick or somebody volunteer that has the experience to handle this by following the model.
Let's see. I am bouncing between.
I think John's the most qualified.
What? All right.
Oh, no, anything but Brother John.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead,
All
John.
right.
You got 3 minutes. Go.
All right, so I get it, Jeff. Let me ask you a question. You mentioned a couple times you want the best deal. What's a good deal look like to you?
Well, a good deal would be one that's, I'm looking at a neighborhood and I like the neighborhood and I want to get the best price. I don't want to pay what the last 3 closings were. The market prices are falling. I want to make a low offer and get in at the right price.
Awesome. Love that. So how long are you willing to wait for that right price?
Well, I just signed another year's lease. I don't know what, I probably have a few months left on this lease.
You got a few months left on the lease? Okay. So now, did you just sign a new 1-year lease, or do you have just a couple of months left on your lease?
I'll have to look. I know there's also, I can pay, I think 3 months rent and get out too, so.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So how long is it going to take for the market to drop to where you're comfortable?
I'm sorry?
How long will it take for the market to drop to where you're comfortable?
Well, that's a good question, because what I look at on Zillow and everything, I see the market dropping every week. So I don't know. Obviously, there's probably a bottom to that, and I want to hit it right at the bottom.
Yeah, you and I both. So, Jeff, let me ask you this: what happens if the market never drops enough to make you comfortable?
Well, John, at sometime before the end of this lease, I'd like to be out of it. I don't want to keep paying this kind of rent.
Okay, so your options are, from what you're telling me here, you're either going to keep paying rent and paying somebody else's mortgage or making somebody else rich, or you're going to turn around and make that decision to be able to better yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I could probably save some money. Maybe you can help me with that.
I know we can. You need to be comfortable making the decision, saying, you know what, I'm going to better myself now instead of somebody else. When you're ready to do that, we're ready to move forward.
Okay.
You
I'm
ready?
ready to do that.
All right. You were pretty easy on me, Jeff.
Well, I thought I'd throw you a couple softballs there.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's convinced to move forward yet. I think I don't know that you've landed a plane, John.
I don't know. If he was ready, he said yes.
He had me with the landing gear down, but I never did set it down.
Who wants to land it? Who's ready? Now, the reason you want to find out if you're talking to a homeowner versus a renter is this. We have had this conversation many times. If you've not heard this, or if you heard it and you don't remember it, write it down. if they're already a homeowner, they've owned for the last year or two, have they not participated in the bounty of the market? That's a big fat yes. And so now basically, and again, it's a different conversation. They've seen the run up in our area in Southwest Florida. We've had 70% increase in prices in the last 2 years. So as you guys start, help me get back on track of this. There's several things I want to share with you. The media always wants to talk about the market as it compares to last year. That's called year over year. So when they look at, for example, when you look at Naples, Jeff, this is kind of interesting. I bring this up in my TV spot. Do you realize Naples sales in June, last month, was down 40% from 2021? That is a huge
numbers
number.
every month, and that's right. That they're down 40% over the best year we ever had in real estate.
Now, the reason you guys out, because this is mastery, I want to give you the advanced class. The media is they're not qualified to talk on mastery level. They will compare it with the last year. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is you are comparing this year with the best year since Noah. So number one, is that going to exasperate when you have negative sale, negative year over year, negative year over year, negative year over year? Doesn't it kind of like exasperate what the condition is? Yes. Absolutely. So what I want you to do, and I can just tell you from our vantage point here in Southwest Florida, the plumb line. All right, so I'm using a word you may not use. What do I mean by the plumb line? The plumb line year is 2019. What do I mean by that?
That was the last normal year we had.
There you go. So I want you guys, as you start to compare the market where you are, I want you to go back to the last normal year. And I can tell you by looking at ours, we've had 30 months of price increases ever since January of 2020. And then we had a couple of months, there are COVID months, and then the market started going crazy. So we've had 2.5 years, 30 months of increase in prices. So anything we compare to 2021 or 2020, our market's going to appear like it's negative. It's not. It's just negative to the best year in the world. So Jeff, in Southwest Florida, I believe our agent should use 2019 to get a gauge on how we're doing. However, what's interesting is, and I'm talking about Naples, and this is 15 minutes of research. I got this information right from our MLS. Home sales were so slow. Not only were they down 40% in June compared to last year, it was the slowest June since 2013. Now that's significant. So we are seeing sales slow, and what's going on, you can put it in your chat. What's going on with your new listings? What's happening, Jeff, with our new listings coming on the market, up or down?
So the new listings are up significantly, and the total homes for sale, combining new homes and price reductions, is up dramatically since January.
So if you're seeing that in your marketplace, just put it in there. Put your location and say it, and let us know what you're seeing, because it is significant. It is significant. So let's go back to a buyer's role play. Let's go back to Jeff. And let me just see if I can land the plane. We'll get ready for another role play there. John, we'll go on a buyer or seller, your choice. So let me ask you.
Chat windows, guys, I'll pick you beforehand.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to send a private chat to everybody, to the two people who are going to be involved ahead of time, so they're ready.
Okay, good. Get them ready. So Jeff, let me ask you something. So you're renting right now. How long have you been renting?
I've been renting, Denny, since 2019.
And at what point in time did you originally have the idea to step into the market, to maybe own, to build equity?
I would have loved to have done that back in 2019, but I didn't. So I signed a year's lease, and lo and behold, we were in the middle of COVID and prices were starting to go up. So the last couple of years haven't been a great time for me to buy.
If you could go back, now that you know what the history's been, and I can tell you the Seahawks wish they would have run the ball in that one Super Bowl game against Tom Brady versus throw the pass, right? I know it's painful for some. If you could go back to 2019, would you have done things differently?
I would have run the ball. I would have gone ahead and, because I was ready to buy, but I didn't. I don't think I had the right feeling.
Now, you guys, I'm stopping right here. If no matter what their opinion of the future is there a chance that it's right? Yeah. Is there a chance that it's wrong? Yep. You have to take them back to that point where they were wrong.
Yep.
So what were the interest rates in 2019?
Low.
3%?
2%, 2.5%.
Could you wish you could go back and get those interest rates again?
Absolutely. I would have never thrown that pass.
Now, this is called, medically speaking, putting salt in the wound.
Right. Pain.
I am making him feel this. And by the way, have you seen prices change since 2019?
Yeah, they've gone way up.
Now, way up is not painful. How do I make that painful, you guys?
The same house I was looking at in 2019 is now worth 40% more.
That's a little bit more painful. How do I put my finger on the wound?
Put a number.
Money on it.
There you go. Who said that? You put a number on it. You're right, Jeff. Because you were looking at a home at 300. Now the same home is $180,000 more. That's like putting the finger right in the wound.
Right.
Now, how does it feel to have left $180,000 on the table?
Not good. The pass was intercepted.
Now you're mixing metaphors that people don't know football. Evidently, that was a painful game for you. So, you guys, do you see what I've just done with a couple simple questions? What's the question I ask now to put a bow on it?
Are you ready to win now?
That's okay. That's a step. That's certainly a question. Yes, you can. That is a great positive question. How about what question?
What if you're wrong again?
Yeah. Okay. So take them to pain. Listen, you guys, logic makes them think, emotion makes them act, and people want to avoid pain instead of going to pleasure. So he is admitting he wishes he would have acted in 2019. Yet he didn't.
Could somebody show me what my $3,500 will buy now and make it obvious that the 3,500 is not a good choice, right?
Yes, and then you have to, the question to put it all together is there you're admitting, Jeff, you would have done things differently in 2019. Let me ask you, is there a chance you could be wrong about waiting today?
I was wrong in 2019.
Now, I'm going to stop with that instead of drilling anymore. Do you see how you can take someone that basically thinks they're full of everything, they know it all, and you just basically told them they don't know crap in a nice way?
And they'd make the same mistake twice.
Exactly. Any comments on that?
I think this is so cool, honestly. Just the concept of it, the objection handling. It's interesting that the human nature tends us to do these things that require us to pick apart at it, you know?
You're right.
Yeah, like I'm going to get even for my mistake in 2019 with the current market, right?
Now that I've made him feel bad, I want to make him feel good. How do I do that? So I'm just going to say here, in my opinion, we're seeing, and you guys, you put seller market, so you might be different. However, I promise you, if it's not different now, it will be different in the future. So you just may be a little bit behind us. It's going to affect everybody. It's kind of like gas prices. I don't think anyone's paying $2.75 anymore a gallon. So I want to make you feel good, Jeff. So let me ask you, I know you can't go back to 2019. However, I want to congratulate you because you can save a pile of money right now. When I make that statement, what's the logical response from you, Jeff?
I'm interested. Show me how.
Right. I mean, that's one of the questions it says that they're going to say, well, okay, I'm listening. So here's the thing I want you to think about. And I'm talking about my market. You can peep up and tell me if this doesn't apply to you or not. Here's the deal. The house that he's looking at now, whatever it happens to be, if it were on the market in February of this year, and my wife and I and a couple of people on my team have been kind of talking back and forth about when we think the market might have peaked. Kind of an interesting cocktail conversation. However, I think generally speaking, this can be true in your market like it's mine. Back then, didn't almost anything sell? If you had a double wide in Afghanistan, you could sell it, right? It didn't matter. And not only did it sell, it probably had multiple offers on it, which means it probably went over asking price. So now the home your buyers are looking at right now, not every home. However, if it's been on the market a week or more, maybe it's a couple of weeks, that would not have happened 3 or 4 months ago, would it? So not only are they saving money because they don't have to get into a bidding war, which could be what, 5, 10, 15, 20% over asking price. The seller, and this is happening in our market, they're lower in the price and things are, get this, you guys, we're actually seeing homes sell under asking price. The buyer, Jeff, right now, if you would have been stepping in, I know you missed 2019, however, right now, you can save anywhere from 15 to 25% right now than you could have spent than if you'd have bought in February.
I'm interested. Show me.
Okay. All right. We're halfway through the call here. We've only really covered one aspect of a buyer's situation. Did anybody have a light bulb or an aha with that? Because the buyers right now are saving, you put your percentage on it. I'm saying between 10 and 20, maybe 25% than if they had bought during the peak. Am I stretching or do you buy that?
I mean, I think you just got to show them. That's what I'm saying. We're in a skill-based market. You got skills. You say, here's what you're paying in rent. Here's what you can save. All the other things don't matter, right?
I don't know. Any comments? Anybody else have a comment on that?
Yeah,
Maybe I just like to hear myself. Go ahead.
The comment I would put in for all three, for John and Jeff and yourself, was that everybody just kept using questions and going deeper and deeper and letting Jeff come to the conclusion himself instead of you trying to throw a bunch of data and numbers at him, which I know we've covered that before, can be confusing for the buyer. So questions, that was fabulous, I think.
And that's why we use question-based listening and having conversations, because you guys, and I appreciate you noting that there's so much power in questions, and generally most agents want to start telling them, well, this is what Gary Keller says. This is what Inman says, blah, 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 blah. See this, see this, see this. Listen, I compare it. See if this analogy makes sense. I compare it to going skydiving. And I've been skydiving before. I've done one jump. And so they give you like a 30-minute, an hour training, they call it that. And you fly you up there and they tandem you up with someone. I can promise you, if that guy wasn't already strapped, was a girl, wasn't already strapped to me, pushing me out the door, I don't think I'd have gone. And there's no amount of logic if you say, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No, it's a weird feeling. So buyers and sellers have this fear, and the only way I think the best way, not the only way, the best way to conquer that is to help them talk through it and almost tandem up with them by asking questions. My last point, John, before our next role play, you've got them ready, is this. I put this in, this is gonna be awesome, you guys. So if you're playing Candy Crush, just stop for a moment, or Yahtzee, just stop, okay? You can do your roll in a minute. Whoops, here is what I want you to write down. Many times a buyer is gonna wanna back out in the market. Now, I don't think the gold, you guys, are in the buyers right now. I think the gold's going to be in the sellers. Because if you have a buyer that's hesitant, you can overcome that with a seller that's motivated. Because if I promise you, if you can get half price on these, if you get a listing for half price, most buyers, if not all buyers, would act. So there's never a shortage of buyers in any market. There's only a shortage of realistic sellers. So here's what I want you to write down. This is my mantra to the buyers that my team is working with. If you're a buyer, Jeff, and you're still pushing back, so let me ask, and I would ask, listen, I understand you're a little bit concerned. However, if there were the right house and the right location and the right motivation at the right price, would you consider it, Jeff?
Yes. I mean, how can you say no to that question?
Well, yeah. I mean, if somebody, you know, whatever, if it's too good to be true, would you want to know about it?
Yes.
No, this is my speech to someone who's like wanting to wait till the market bottoms or something like that. So you can't win in this market unless you're in the market. So here's my strategy for buyers. I want you to, is it okay if we're actively looking? Now, I'm not taking you and I'm not driving you around. I'm going to be sending stuff to you. Is that okay?
Yes.
I want them, a win for a buyer in this market is to keep them actively looking. And what's the second thing? Patiently ready. You have a chance of getting them to move in the market if you can at least keep them actively looking, patiently ready, instead of, well, I'm going to wait to sometime when the market bottoms. Well, when's that? It's like, when are the Giants going to win the Super Bowl again? Like almost never. So that's about all the wisdom I have on that. John, what's next?
Thank you, Denny.
Well, first of all, Denny, let me say I'm glad your wife is not on the call since you're dissing the Giants. She wouldn't be a fan of that. Although I agree with you, we don't know the next time the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl. Maybe never. Okay, so Brian Hood is our listing agent, and his client is Bridget Roberts. Bridget is stubborn. She does not want to reduce her price because she knows we're in a seller's market and somebody's going to pay her price. Brian, time to ask for the reduction.
Here's the model.
Hi, Bridget. How are you today?
Good, and you?
I'm well. I understand you're ready to put your house on the market, but you have a couple questions. Do I understand that correctly?
No, she's been on the market with you for 60 days, Brian. It's time for a price reduction.
Oh, okay. So she's already listed with me. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so Bridget, we've had your property listed for 60 days. We've had really no phone calls, no offers. I think it might be time to reposition the property. What do you think about that?
No, I think that we can get the price that it's listed at.
Okay, well, can you remind me why we listed it anyway, why we're selling?
I'm just ready for something different.
Okay, well, do you already have a place in mind where you're going?
No, just waiting for the right thing to come up.
Okay, well, there must be some reason that you're selling. Can you give me one reason that you've decided to sell? There's got to be something a little bit more specific, I think.
I'm just going to call, hang on. I'm just going to call
Yeah.
time out here. I'm glad you're doing that. You're going to motivation. It's been on the market 60 days. Most likely you would already know that. However, we don't know
Right.
it in the role play.
Okay, right, okay.
So he's doing the right thing. I mean, obviously you've got to go to motivation when you have resistance. So keep going. It was a nice job.
Okay, all right,
I just
Okay,
like
so-
a new house.
okay. Okay, will you need to sell this current home before you can purchase the next one? Or do you have
Yes.
cash for the next? Okay, so we're depending on this sale for the next purchase?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me tell you, if it's already been on the market for 60 days, we've had no calls. Do you see any reason why suddenly the market's going to change? Because the market right now, statistics are telling us the market is slowing down. Prices are starting to go down. How long do you want to wait on that?
I don't have a time frame, so I can wait as long as it takes, but this is the number that you gave me, and I think that we can get it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a tricky statement. Keep going. Nice job.
Okay,
Doesn't happen, Denny, a lot. I love it.
Okay, well, can we clarify? I wouldn't give her the number. I'd give her the range and let her pick the number for this very reason. But,
Yes,
okay,
but-
Bridget,
There's the benefit for you guys out there that are doing CMAs and giving them numbers, because that's exactly the line they're going to use.
Well, how about this, Bridget? What if we took a look at what the current market conditions are doing? Because I want you to be able to go get that next property that you want. But I think what the market is telling us is the market is kind of sloping off this way. It's sloping down the prices. If we wait another 60 days, we're kind of in a straight line, and then we're going to do a small drop and then a straight line and a small drop. It's what we call chasing the market. And if we start chasing the market, we're actually going to get a lot less for your property than we could have if we positioned it appropriately right now.
Statement.
Uh-oh. What do you think about revisiting that and positioning the property so we can get some more activity? Because right now, we're not getting the calls. I think we could get some offers if we can reposition properly. What do you think about that, Bridget?
And how would we reposition?
Well, we're going to have to look at what your current market, what it's telling us, and we got to be competitive. So we would have to position downward. I know that's not what you want, but in the great scheme of things, it sounds like you really want to sell this property so you can get that one that you really wanted. And I'd like to help you do that. The only way
That's a long statement.
Okay, sorry. So Bridget, we will need to reposition down the price to adjust downward to be competitive in this current market. What do you think about that?
That was a statement with a tie down. Why don't you ask her a question?
Uh-oh. Bridget.
You're at 650 right now.
Okay, Bridget, let's bring it down to, what do you think about if we come?
Don't make a statement.
Bridget, what would you be willing to bring the cost down, the price down to?
Now let me just ask you guys, isn't that a better approach?
Because I'm leaving it to her.
Yes, because we may be thinking, man, if I get a $10,000 price reduction, it'd be awesome. She may be thinking 100. Ask them.
Okay.
Keep going.
Bridget, what do you think about you tell me, what's a number you're comfortable going down to so we can make this happen for you?
All right, I've been on you. I'm going to get rid of the word comfortable. Are sellers going to be comfortable with anything they do at this point?
No.
Don't use the word comfortable.
Okay. Bridget, what number are you willing to go to?
Fair.
I don't want to take less than
You're at 650.
645.
Oh my gosh. Fire. No, I'm kidding.
Well, Bridget, I can tell you, I'm not confident that that's going to work.
Statement.
Bridget, maybe it's time we update our CMA.
Statement.
Is that a question?
Well, I was trying to get to.
Hey, Brian.
How do I bring her into that? How do I bring her to a number?
You've talked about repositioning, so I know you understand the 3 outcomes model, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Right.
So Bridget, if we reposition to 645 and the market says no, how will you feel?
That's a good question. Give me another question. Hang on. Give me another question. That's a good question. There could be another question. What could it be?
Where do we stand on our 3 outcomes?
Well, you don't know where you're going to, well, we already know. I mean, I wish you'd have brought the outcome sheet involved to begin with. That's why I threw it up here. You said you're not getting any calls. If you're not getting any calls, then I would say your marketing's bad. The issue is you're not getting any showings. That's the bottom line. Forget about the calls. It's the showings. What's another question? Anyone? Come on. You guys are quiet after. This is how we learn.
Is a $5,000 price drop going to take us from outcome 1 to outcome 3?
All right, so now you're on the right track. So if you get a seller that's kind of like hanging on with their fingernails on their initial price, so well, let me ask you, do you think if you were a buyer and you saw a home that was on the market 60 days at 650 and they repositioned at 645, would that really excite you? You see, that's the question. That's the line of questions you could, and you know what? watch this one. I'm going to be the seller. And again, it's Brian.
Yes.
How about if I lower it to 645, will it sell?
Well, Denny, we don't know because we need to get to a number where we would generate some interest in the property. And at 650, we're getting no interest. So 645, would that change your perception if you were looking at a house?
Right.
A $5,000 reduction?
That's not a bad answer. Let me give you the best answer though. Whenever they ask you if whatever price is will that cost it to sell? Here's your answer. I don't know. One of three things will happen.
Okay.
It always is one of three things.
Right.
Well, how about if I lower it to 600, Brian? Will that cause it to sell?
Well, Denny, I don't know for sure. I can't tell you, but as you know, one of three things are going to happen. We're going to get.
All right, so you passed the test. You passed the
Okay.
test. How about at 400?
It'll sell because I'll buy it.
I'll buy it. Yeah. I know. All right. So that was pretty good. John, what's next?
Oh, that one ended faster than the last one. I wasn't even prepared. Let's go back to buyers. Okay. Jeff was not concerned about interest rates. However, Pamela hates what's been going on with interest rates. So Pamela is scared to buy, but Whitney has the answer for her. So Whitney's the agent. Pamela's the buyer. And again, we have interest rate concerns.
Whitney is like misdirect.
Might not work well. I typically like sellers.
All right. This is going to be fun.
Sorry, John, you said it's an interest rate thing, and who's my partner?
Yeah, that whole 6% interest rate is just got her scared to death because, 4 months ago, she could have bought the same house for 3.25.
Okay, and who is my partner? I'm
Pamela.
sorry.
Is it Pamela?
Pamela, she's waving to you.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Okay, Pamela, I totally get it. You are concerned because interest rates are high. Is that correct?
Yeah, especially because of how it's going to impact my monthly payment. That monthly payment just makes such a huge difference, I think.
I agree. Yes, that's something. What'd you say?
I understand.
I understand.
You guys
Don't agree.
never agree with them. Just acknowledge it.
I understand. Yes, you should definitely think about your monthly payment. Other than that, is there anything else stopping you from finding your next home?
From moving forward, right? Okay, good. That's the isolation, guys. Good job. And Pamela, just say no because we don't
Right.
know.
No, it's just that, how it's going to impact my payment. That's my biggest thing. My outcome every 30 days.
Okay. So do you currently rent or own?
Ooh, you listen.
Actually, I own.
Nice.
Oh, awesome. Do you need to sell before you can buy?
I do.
Okay. Is your home currently on the market?
Well, no, because I've been really iffy, scared to move forward as a buyer. I mean, I know what my payment is now, it's a known thing where I'm at, and going forward is a little unknown. It's scary. And I know, but except I do know bigger payment.
Okay. What's your current interest rate?
Oh, I think it's about somewhere in 3.9, somewhere around there.
Okay. Are you familiar with what home values have done over the last year or 2 years or 5 years?
Yeah.
All right. So hang on. I'm going to just coach you a little bit here. You guys, you're going to get a lot of conversations around interest rates. There would have been a better question. I want you to rewind. Don't ask that question, Whit. There's a better question to ask her than what her interest rate is. What would that be?
My brain instantly went to the play to win or
I know
that line of questioning, meaning take the equity from your current home.
Yeah, but how many people know what their rent payment is? How many people know what their mortgage payment is? Most? In fact, most people know the mortgage payment more than they know what? The interest rate. So it isn't about the rate, it's about the payment. Ask her
Like
what
Denny,
her
she mentioned payment. Pamela mentioned payment, not rate. The inference is the rate, but she mentioned the payment would be too high.
Yes, you guys don't get balled up in rate. It's about monthly investment. Ask that question, Whitney.
Okay, what is your current monthly investment?
About 2,800 a month.
Okay, and the homes you're looking at are, do you have any idea of price range for where
Well,
you're?
When I've gone online and done those little, quick calculation deal, I'm looking at maybe if homes that I'd really like to consider, it's 4,500, 5,000 a month. It's a big leap.
Okay, what's causing you to move?
All right, now she's going to motivation. Awesome. So good job.
Thanks.
I want a nicer home. I want some things that my current home doesn't have. I want something nicer. I'm ready for a change.
Do you think you'd be able to get into, go ahead, Denny. I don't know.
No, I know you're thinking. So you guys, that statement right there is setting you up for the kill. Now, again, we talked about the difference in rate. It's not that. It's the difference in the what?
Payment.
So what's the difference in the payment then?
Well, she said 1,500 essentially, if she's
But
paying.
2,800 to about 4,500 or 5,000, right?
Yeah.
However,
What were you expecting your new payment to be?
yeah, because what she's saying is she's going to something nicer. Was she already expecting her payment to be higher?
Yes.
What's the difference what's the difference between the 3% or the 3.5% and the 6%? That's the thing you got to work on. And here's how she sets you up. And I'll let you finish it. She wanted something nicer. So is it going to be more expensive from 3% to 6%?
Yeah. And that's where my brain went. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you other than that might be tough.
Well, where my brain went is you've got to be able to articulate the delta, the difference. So get to that point. And John can probably tell you he's a walking amortization book.
Yeah. 10% per interest point.
You
Right.
don't even need to go that route, Whitney. So Pamela, you want to get a nicer house. How much more were you expecting to pay per month for that?
Here you go.
Well, I know I was thinking that it's going to at least probably be 1,000 more a month. But then when I go online and look, at what's there and what I see that I want, I realize I'm going to have to consider going above that, more than 1,000 a month more.
Okay, how much?
It feels like it's almost, doubling my payment. And so, yeah, I wanted it to only be like 1,000 more, but, which would take me upper threes, but I'm looking at 4,500, 5,000 a month.
Okay, so there's about a $500 a month gap. So I guess let me ask you this.
Oh, wait, you got to have her acknowledge that first, because I don't think she's thinking it's 500.
We're down to 5 minutes left, so you're right. So Pamela, that's about a $500 a month difference that has you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could get that house and not have that $500 a month difference, would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay, so that, now off topic, guys, now we've just clarified that she is a buyer, she is in the market. So Pam, a question. If you were buying the house in February of this year, how much do you think it would have cost you then?
Oh, a whole lot more.
So
how much more?
Yeah. Do you have an idea how much more it would have cost you then?
You see where John's taking her? This is brilliant, you guys. Watch this. Keep going.
Not an exact number, no, not really.
If you had a guess, what would it be?
Uh,
I probably wouldn't ask that question. She doesn't know.
Okay, so
Give her the number, then see if that makes sense.
Pamela, would it surprise you to know that this same type of house 4 months ago was selling for anywhere from 8 to 15% more than it is today?
Numbers, not percentages.
Okay, so $50,000 to $75,000 more than it is today.
You guys see the difference? Most people, John is a walking computer. Most people don't think in percentages. It's real dollars. So you're saving $80,000 now.
And Pamela, as far as the rate goes, I'm going to use a Dennyism here. You're marrying the house. You're only dating the rate. If rates change in a year, you get to take advantage of the market today, get the house that you want, and you can always refinance out of the rate later.
Oh, well, that's encouraging because, maybe I could at least, accept living with putting out a little more now, knowing that in the future, I would have an opportunity to change that. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John, hang on just a second. Where I would have gone, if you can acknowledge what they would have saved, and John took it to the exact same, just the reverse of what we did earlier, $80,000. And so let me ask you, so for 80 years that you're saving $80,000. What would be that would be how many months if it's costing you $500 more a month than your monthly investment, but you're saving 80,000? How many months are you ahead? That's 500 into 80,000. How many months is that, John?
12 years.
Wow.
12 years. The market is
actually it's slightly over 12. It's about 13.4, but 12 is an easier number to digest. So, and then the question would be, Pamela, if we had gone down that road, so, it's going to take you 13 years at $500 a month to pay that $80,000 that you're saving. Now, are you going to own the home for 13 years? No one ever says yes.
Yeah.
So now you have a double savings on that.
It's not, I don't even think you're right. You could do that. I don't even think you'd have to, because are you worth, the market is paying you to own this house. Are you worth it? You said you would do it if it was basically the 1,000 and the market's paying you the 500 for 13 years. What would stop you from taking advantage of that when the market's paying the difference for you?
Yeah, no, that really kind of alleviates some of my fears and concerns. I think I'd consider it.
That was really well done. Nice. That was a perfect, what am I looking for? I don't want to say script. That was a perfect tack, John, on that.
And Denny, one of the other topics that we came up with this morning just appeared in the chat window, which is, if the seller is hung up on a price point, then ask them to do an interest rate buy down, because that'll take your interest rate. If you can get the seller to make a contribution for closing costs, you can buy your interest rate down a half a point, a full point. I actually have an investor who's looking at doing it at 1.5. So interest rate buy downs need to be dusted off out of your toolbox and put on the top shelf, because you're going to be using them. Thank you to the Sherry, whichever one it was that added that in there.
Nice job. Yeah, we got more than one Sherry. So you guys, did you learn anything today? Share with us. Sometimes we feel like we like to have a little feedback. So when Johnny Cash would sing, "I'm going back to my days now," you want to applaud. Anybody learn something today?
No one's that old, Denny. No one's that old.
Okay.
I am. I've got it. So I did learn something about, and a question to go along with this. When this is Pamela.
Yeah.
When they were doing the role play and she came back at him saying, "This is the number you told me." Remember that?
Yep.
I can't remember everybody's names. Brian was the seller or the seller's agent. So in that situation, I have a seller. We're not listed yet because we're doing some construction repairs and stuff. So we're a few weeks out. But I've been in relationship with him for several weeks now. And it's just one of those upcoming listings that's involved everything you can imagine. But he even though he knows I'm new to this market here, he knows I was a broker somewhere else and he knows I have experience. So he comes at me with everything. He's very emotional and you're the expert. I'm depending on you. I mean, from paint color to everything. And so I go through this work with everything I do with him. And it's just a lot of work because he comes at me, you know, and it's like everything's a 45-minute discussion. By the time I listen, you know, he gets it all out, the emotion and all. But I of course, he knows that when, you know, there's a price point. We looked at the market, you know, when we very first started. He knows we're going to finish these things. He knows what the investment is of the repairs and construction, and he knows we're going to revisit the market, and I'm keeping him current on market events when we're finished with the project and look at that.
Let me kind of put a bow in his, Pamela.
On me. Yeah.
Now, be him and ask me a question he would ask you.
Oh, well, the last thing was the paint colors, you know.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Let me just, all right, let's just, you know, I'm not a decorator. You want a professional opinion? We can get you one.
Yeah, and that's what I've done.
No. Stay and roll with me. This is the only way we learn here. Is give me another question. Give me another question. I'm not a decorator. We can get you in touch with one. So you are teaching them how to treat you.
Yeah. Well, you know, you want me to be him and respond to that?
Yes. No.
He's going to tell me he's a medical professional who works nights. He doesn't have time to do that. And so he needs me to help him with that. He's depending on me to help him.
Stop. You are him. I'm not a decorator. I don't know what paint colors. So you should be talking to a decorator.
Yeah. He likes it when I can.
No, you're not being him. You've got to be him. If he said that, I'm going to tell you, you should be talking to a decorator. Now, if he has a toothache and he comes to you and said, Pamela, I got a toothache, what are you going to tell him? I'm not a dentist.
Yeah.
So
Denny, one of the things that Pamela has been saying is that regarding pricing. So Pamela, be the client and directly ask Denny what the price should be.
Yes.
The screen keeps flipping on. I'm just saying, and then
ask me a pricing question. If he's asking you a pricing question, ask me a pricing question that he's asking you.
Okay, well, he says that. Like I gave him the
No,
range.
I don't want the he stuff. I want you to be him. Ask me. I'm you.
Okay. So, you know, Pamela, when we first started talking, you know, you gave me that price of $680. So, you know, I mean, I understand what you're sharing with how the market works, but, you know, I'm really still kind of focused on that price point and what I'm ultimately going to walk away with.
So far, there's no question.
Well, gosh, I've had so many conversations. I can't even, I'm trying to think how he put it.
Just ask.
What's your biggest challenge with the guy? What's your main thing right now that you're stuck on? What's the one thing?
So when we looked 30 days ago, he's looking at 680. If, you know, but he's got to do the repairs and all. He's got about 50 grand he's putting into it.
This is my ATM card.
And the only reason, you know, he's getting this 50 grand is because I know the contractor.
Hang on, you got to leave out the details. This is getting too long.
Okay.
So if you want to know if we should be on at 680?
He's going to want to finish this. I want to finish construction and come out higher, but I think Pamela, you're going to try to bring me back to the 680, but maybe we can get more.
Where do you want to list it? Where do you want to list it, Pam?
And I'm him?
Yes.
Well, maybe we can go into the 700-800 range.
Well, that's a big range. Where do you want to list it?
Maybe 799.
Okay. So are you ready to, if we're going to put it on at 799, are you ready to list with me right now?
Oh yeah. I'm going to list with you.
Awesome. So what are you going to do if the market says no? Now that's it. That's all. I'm not getting into a fist fight with them. I'm not, listen, even in a market right now, I know you got to be a little bit more, you know, at some point when the market strongly shows that it's falling, you can stand and fight your ground, and so you don't waste your time. However, sellers will be in denial. And so, Pam, why argue with him? If he wants to list it at $7.99, take it. You didn't pick the price, and we've had the sheet up there. I trust you're using it. One of three things will happen. So what are you going to do if the market says no? That's it. That's all. You can't tell him what it's going to sell for. Don't even go down that road.
And I haven't, and I told him if he wants to list it at that, we will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where's the challenge with him?
Well, I guess it's just no matter what category we talk about, he wants me to tell him what to do. That's really, and succinctly, that's really the deal with everything. He wants me to tell him what to do. And then he wants to come back at me.
Okay, so if he has a toothache and he's going to come to you and ask you about, you know, what should he do? Are you going to tell him?
Yeah, that makes sense. I hear what you're saying.
So you are teaching.
He's got to go to the expert.
Yeah. So quit doing it. I'm, you know, like whatever. So I trust. I just want to
That's
kind of.
helpful. Yeah, I don't want to keep everybody tied up.
You guys are awesome. Pam, thanks. And thanks for participating in the role play. I trust you like it. We'll be back here next Friday. John, Sonny, and everyone that was here. Thank you. See you later. Be
Thank you,
careful.
everybody.
Thank you.
Great, as always. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
It's Friday.